Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to our breakfast show, Trading Idea with SMARTRobie, coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Except Thursday will be in Bursa by my colleague, Coach Arif. And today, I hope you had a good weekend. Definitely the news of the higher COVID cases, and many of us are alarmed by the MCO 3.0. No doubt, the ministry has come out and said there is likely not to be a MCO 3.0 because they are still having their NSC. Now, I'm going to ask you, have you managed, those of you especially living in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, have you managed to get hold of the AstraZeneca vaccine? No doubt there are risks involved in the blood clot, but anyway, for those of you who are age 50 and above, according to a doctor who's happened to be my brother, says that you should take AstraZeneca, and he has taken AstraZeneca for that matter, and he's much older than me because he's my brother anyway. But having said that, let's look at what we have for you this morning on top of all the news that we have and over the weekend. All right. Now, of course, today, you all know, today is Monday, and Monday we'll be touching on the beginners levels, which means we will be looking at the trading plan that we did last week. You still remember what was the trade idea? We looked at it last week. Never mind. We will review that together with you and have some lesson learned also together. And also today, we'll be looking at two new trade idea that we can build a trading plan, which I will show you how we do that. Very simple, so you can have a way to follow that. And this week is going to be a busy week for me. Maybe I hope like to invite you to all our talks and event, definitely starting with today, and then tomorrow we have something on Tuesday, and then Wednesday night, and also the finale on Saturday. So if you have time and you want to learn more about investing and trading the right method, come and join us this week in here as I go through with you all the schedule and the events that we are doing this Wednesday. But let's look at our first news headline that is in our past 2 days over the weekend in here in our Bursa Malaysia morning headlines. That's right. Now, definitely for sure, those of you who has been a loyal supporter, we really thank you for you in, and as such, we like to give you a token of appreciation for being a top fans, for sharing this video and also liking our comments that we posted in our Martin TF page wall as well as SMARTRobie. We will give you 300 smart credit, and that's a QR code if you wish to know more about that. All right, and let's go on to what we have for you now. Definitely this week is all focusing on the interest rate because like it or not, you do know why this is important. Now let's look at the market for what it is this morning here. Okay, let me show you why this news is important. If you look at this morning, we have to see, look at the KLSE market here. All right, and our market is sort of ranging between 2 points. So there are a lot of focus on the overnight policy. Now do take note, 33% of our KLCI, the weightage is basically on banking stock. And every time when they cut interest rate, that means bank profit margin will be affected as such. That's why you see, the chart that we see in here. Let me just show you on top of in here, it's going to go down. But if, which is I think very likely on the right hand side, Bank Negara is going to be holding the interest rate at positive because tonight the Jerome Powell will be making also the same interest rate, whether they are dovish or hawkish about the interest rate movement. So I do believe, and many of the economists also poll that likely to keep the interest rate unchanged. So at least from the chart wide you see above in here, has a chance to perhaps break above the 1620. That's right. But what is really pending is what I just said in the opening, the MCO 3.0, because if that is going to be launched, perhaps maybe in a diluted MC 3.0, which means you can still pretty much do everything except you can't dine in, there will be limited bazaar, and you cannot do interstate travel, something like of that sort. I think that's likely to be. So that would mean our KLCI, which you see above you, staying and holding above. What do you think? Do you agree to what I've just said in there? If you do, just pencil in there. I'd like to hear what is your opinion too, because this interest rate movement will determine whether we're going to go lower or whether we're going to go a bit higher. As of right now, I don't think there are enough catalysts to allow the market to go up. But let's take a look at what we have this morning in here. Definitely, we got LKL up. Wow, that's 200 million right now, just after 10 o'clock. Maleva, the steel company, is up. I will also update you on the steel trade that we did, and we have taken profit on that one this morning in here. I'll let you guys know too. KLK is up. MPI, Dutch Lady, Dufu is up 1.5. The big decliner are T Ocean, Vitrox, Carlsberg, and Pagdart. This has moved last week in here. So check it out. You can always go to the SMARTRobie under the KLCI market today, and you're able to see this. All right, almost real time in here for the most active stock. Let's move on to our next news in here. So our next news is actually focused on the big rubber glove bandwagon, which actually came out on the Star Business last Saturday. So all in all, the news talks about, in the 1990s, where the surge of rubber glove, and at that time we have 200 rubber glove maker, producing small or big scales. But finally, of course, many things eventually will turn out to be the strongest will survive. And that leaves about 40. But right now we have the same thing going on because of a very good forecast going forward to 2021, 2022, beyond to 2024. But what's more important, let me just share with you in here. Let me just get the laser pointer. As this year, 2021, those of you who want to have some rubber glove, I think substantially the market size growth as well as the ASP, talking about average selling price, continue to be high. And it's going to start taper off on the second half of 2021. So going 2022, it's not going to be that rosy. This is where you see a lot more of the new player coming in, like Ma Seng, Hong Heng, and some of the newer ones will be coming in there, taking market share away from the big four. We know them as Top Glove, Hatalega, Kosan, and Supermax. That's right. So what does this tell you? If you look at the wider chart in here, that's a lot of information you want to get. Perhaps I can help you by looking up here. You could see it actually picks up in 2021, which means 2021 is where, if you are short term, this is where, if the market is going higher, you want to be selling and not buying right now. So right now we are still let's look at the Top Glove right now in here. Let me check it out for you here. Okay, and switching on to a chart here, switching to a wider chart. So you can see in here, Top Glove is still going up, which concurred with the news that you see up in here. Remember, think to buy or sell when good news. Haha, that's right. I always teach you, think to sell on good news, think to buy on bad news. Or if you have followed the green Pentagon in here, you will at least be in here, but don't be the many average investor. As I talk about being average, it's very difficult for you to make money. That's right. So you want to be thinking to selling as you go higher in here. If you have missed this, then there are other sectors we can look at in here. And those of you who are switching to a longer term, you can also see beyond 2022, 2024, where you have more players, the kind of margin that usually enjoy by the top tier glove maker like Hatalega, Kosan, Supermax, all right, will sort of be pretty much average. So in short, if you're going to hold it a bit longer term, my advice to you is to stick on to the top tier of the market leader of the rubber glove. And that's the message I always have around those of you who tend to hold it for longer term. If you're shorter trade, you can buy the second tier one like Avanta, Rubbermax. And let's look at Avanta, which I think has moved up a fair bit and will hit eventually what we call profit taking. Let's look at Avanta right now in here. And let's look at stock comment and stock chart. You can see, yep, that's one has gone pretty much climatic. And if you have gone in following the green Pentagon, in here you'll be in around maybe 80 cents. Now it's already $2 in here. Definitely. Now, don't ask me is it time to get into Avanta. If you really want to, use the trading plan that it is and follow it diligently and learn how to cut. Because if you don't have a plan, then it doesn't really matter whether you want to, buy or not. Just feel like it, go and do it. But guess what? In the long run, I think you're likely to make more losses enough. Because in what we want to do in here, if you follow a track record that we've been doing over the many years that we have done for, if you follow a system, right, having a discipline, and I'm sure if the market has any movement, you're likely to benefit from all this in here. If you agreed what we have just said, give me another thumbs up in here, because I want to make sure, I want to put you in the right frame of work. Now, if you look on the right hand side, on the Pentagon fact, Avanta is likely to be 119.4% since the green Pentagon at $1, right? And it just following the Green Pentagon in here. Now, if you want to know more about Green Pentagon, there's also a video tutorial in here, Trade VSO, SOS, and SOW, which pretty much explain to you. Of course, those of you who wanted to upgrade your skill, right? Here we have a combo, a Hari Raya special in here, which will end on 12th of May, and you have seen that on the earlier map. Perhaps I'll just flash it up for those of you who are interested to upgrade your skill and continue to be coached by all our coaches and myself for the next 12 months or so. All right, let's move on to our next news. Okay, our next news is again reading now what I've talked about the COVID-19 on the second quarter. The contingency is that if MCO 3.0 is going to coming out with a little bit either tighter or looser restriction. That's all we're going to do, right? There will be, because we all know the beds are pretty much full up in the private sector and also in Sungai Buloh that I've talked to, and also the local government are still rolling out those vaccine, not at the very fast pace. I mean, if you did not manage to register for the AstraZeneca, which have the higher risk in here, then you might likely to wait, depending on your age, of course, right? Might likely to wait until next year. My uncle is about 70 plus, got vaccinated last week, and my aunt about 80, and she's getting vaccinated, I think, this week or next week. So the older generation, Shabas, I think that's the government doing a good thing to ensure they protect the senior one. And those of you who are listening, do share in this on the comment on the right inside is when is your COVID-19 vaccination appointment. I'd like to know that too, and congratulate you if you're on that list, and make sure you stay protected and continue to watch this program too. I want you to stay healthy and continue to have many good days ahead of it. All right, let's move on to our next news that we have, and another point is that the Bank Niagara do project this year 2021 to have a GDP growth of 6 to 7.5, which is left unchanged for many months, continue to be flashed by many of the media in here, and I just want to bring it out in here, despite the market contracted at minus 5.6 in 2020. All right, let's look into the next news, which is going to talk about shopping malls. That's right. Now, shopping mall about footfall. Okay, I always read that almost football. It's footfall or foot traffic. They call it foot traffic. And sometimes I really wonder, the bigger shopping malls, maybe Pavilion, Mega Malls, the Bandar Utama, those seems to be doing well, but many of the smaller malls tend to struggle. We have seen many restaurants close in here. So the story for about the Pavilion REITs, which is touted by the analysts, talking about, no doubt, there are some like the Diamond Mall in USJ has a very discouraging foot traffic, and it managed to fall, a loss of 2.2 million in here. A lot of shops are closing up. If you ever been to Diamond in USJ, if you go beyond the second and the third floor, you could find any people at all. And Pavilion in many ways are trying to avoid that. I think they're doing a pretty good job being a prominent shopping mall in KL and closest in city, with many of the big mega luxury brand in here. And if the luxury brand were to move out, that's not very good. But this whole point about this news is talking on the target price of 170 for Pavilion REITs, and this was highlighted by the research in here. Let's take a look at Pavilion REITs this morning. Where is it? All right. Let's look at the stock chart for Pavilion REITs. Definitely Pavilion REITs right now is only below 144. Still, you can see up there, it's still on the yellow trend zone in here. Not much. And will this news cause it to go higher? On stock price, usually 0.1. Okay, yep, that's right. You can see, right? Let me just switch to a wider chart in here. There is lack of interest in a lot of these REITs, unless, okay, let's look at the stock fundamentals in here. You are a fundamental guy and going for that dividend, you can see 2.9%. But if you look in terms of the REITs, sector average is only 33 times. This is doing 98 times. So, not surprised, many people, like it or not, don't like this kind of thing, being pretty pricey, and they would rather buy something which have more growth, perhaps in the shorter terms, like the technology stock or some industrial product. But definitely the steel sectors has moved out. It said, I do think the steel sector, it's time to take profit, and which we have done, which I'm going to share with you later on too. All right, let's move on to the next news that we have is talking about early retirement, FIRE. FIRE is another word, short term, just saying financial independent, retire early. Now, who doesn't like it? All of us retired early, right? I mean, if you are able, of course, if you learn from financial planning, if your expenses daily or even on a monthly basis is less than what you are getting in passive, then you already consider you can retire early. I think the whole point of retirement means different to a lot of people. But what I did was the article talk about stashing away 25 times of your annual living and saving up to 70%. So they actually have a formula for that, or then you pull 4% out. So what I've done, I think along the same line, I've done one very good video about 1 hour in here. It's available on YouTube. That's a QR code on that. How to make 1 million in the stock market, and pretty much in line with the early retirement concept, those of you who are interested in here. So I always tell people, if you were to come into our program and a lot of news that we say, I think the old motivative still don't change. Yes, we want to make income, we want to make trading income, but we also want to able to retire and able to see and spend more time connected with our friends, with our children and our family member in here. And statistics have shown, right, having too much money may not be a good thing, but staying connected with friends does over. Do what I say this makes sense? If I do, give me another good comment in here. So watch over that video. I'll be happy to answer some of your comments that you have on this, how to make 1 million in the stock market, whether it's the KLSE or the US market in here. All right. Now let's move on to our next story. We're going to shift our focus to the US market, which always been our intention in here, to able for you to diversify out from here. Now, looking at this, the US market has tipping just short of the 34,000, but holding above the 33,000 in here. And this week sets to look at a couple of things, but at least 4 important things before the next breakout that we see in either in the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones are the job figures which is coming up. We know that Joe Biden is rolling out 3 big policies, right? The first one, we know the COVID, right? If I'm not mistaken, the COVID was 1.8. No, the COVID, I can't remember off my head. There was a COVID trillions. Second one was the infrastructure, the Green Deal, 2.4 trillion. And then they have the family plan. The family plan, what we call from cradle, when they were born, all the way to grave, another 1.8 trillion. So all this are sort of going to be creating why we've seen the construction, the lumber, and also the steel prices seems to be going up because of the big infrastructure that we have seen in US that is driving the price up right now in here. So this will eventually lead to a lot more jobs being created. Again, of course, some jobs will be lost into traditional oil and gas like the Keystone Pipeline project, which many Republicans supported. Now that is going to be replaced by a lot of the green energy as well as building up our new homes in here. Second, but not, we also seen earnings last week, Facebook and also the likes of Apple coming out with earnings that seems to blow off everybody chart, including Tesla a week earlier. So those earnings continue to stay up higher, and like it or not, many people take profit when you see good earnings. So you'll be scratching your head, why, Martin, with good earnings, why is the market tapering off? Usually that's the case, and we have seen that also happening on last year. Remember when we had all the what we call peak earnings that was experienced by the rubber glove maker in August and September. That's where we've seen the high, right? And the market pop all the way. Usually that's the case. So depending whether you're short-term strategy or your longer-term, please make some assessment adjustment to your strategy, whether you're trading for. But longer term, the market seems to be going higher. And number 3, also the US FOMC chairperson Jerome Powell will be talking about these what we call bond yield buying to keep the interest rate. Now we all know that interest rate is climbing higher, no doubt about it. We've seen that on the US 10-year yield bond in here because the US FOMC continue to stay on course, meaning they are continuing to buy the same amount of bond buying, if I'm not mistaken, 120 billions every month in here to control that interest rate. Of course, when they buy more bonds, when bond prices go higher, because they buy bond higher, prices will go high. When bond prices go high, it has an inverse relationship to the yield. So when the yield comes out, that's where you see all the tech stocks seems to be moving up. So right now you're seeing many of the earnings, good result coming out, share price drop is partly due to the expectation that the Feds will likely to keep the bond buying at a fixed rate every month, putting inflation at risk. And when inflation at risk, we're going to result to higher interest rate. Higher interest rate will cause a lot of the tech stock fall. I know it's complicated, but continue to listen to me time and time again. And when you get up to your head, you will know this is how the market works. I think that's important too. Some of the lessons I want to bring back to you. And then the fourth one is the PMI, which is the manufacturing index that is coming out in here. I think that will continue to stay very, very positive because the economic rollout, the economic recovery that we've seen, and Biden has pretty much got the more than 200 million vaccine rollout for the population of around 340 million. He got about 240 million. For the first 100 days, Joe Biden has done certainly a very, very good job in here. And so the economy is recovering, New York is reopening, and many of the states reopening. No doubt there are still many of the Republicans refuse to take those vaccines. That is somehow causing that not able to achieve the herd immunity. Now, if you compare how US has rolled out their vaccine with super efficient and compare to our country, of course, definitely not a fair comparison. Even if you compare our country with Singapore, also not fair comparison in India. But as a country, we do what we can. We need to protect ourselves. We need to earn money. We need to invest in the market. And that's the message I want to, no point staying, and really blasting out, why can't the local authority do better? We do what we can given the circumstances. And I think over that 1 year period of being pretty much in a lockdown since last year, February 2020 until this year right now, May, we've been doing pretty much on Facebook for 1.5 years, and we all continue to enjoy the free lessons that we provided here in Martin TFWong in here. All right, let's move on to our next news. Now, next will be our past leaderboard, the Pentagon guider trading in here, which is usually targeted for a lot of our beginners in here. And how do we get them? Very simple. You go down to the main menu in here. You can see on this side, bottom left hand side, Pentagon guider, and that's the one that comes out. So today I have picked 2 stocks in here, but the past leader are able to enable you to get in. There's also a video tutorial that you can watch inside here, and if you want to, just type FAQ, right? FAQ, hit that one, and you can see there is a video tutorial in here. Our latest video tutorial feature for one of a very, very lovely intern in here. You can watch that one, part 1 and part 2 in here, or you can just go on to our YouTube and watch more. Lots of tutorial to get you educated and get you in the right track. But let's look at the leaderboard that we had previously in here. Continue to make about 60%, 34%, and depending, those of you who do follow us on the Pentagon guider strategy, which we will also talk about this Saturday. That's right, a repeat of our fixed rule in here. So make sure you catch them, how you're able to achieve some of these high returns in here, depending on your strategy. All right, let's move on to our next lesson learned in here. Last week, did we pick about this one in here? Let me just switch to a wider chart here. And last week, the 26th of April, Monday, we actually had 2 stocks. They hadn't really sort of gone anywhere, still pretty much where it is, Axiata REITs. And one of the reasons why I like about Axiata REITs is partly is because it is on warehouse, and we know the amount of volume that we've seen a lot on the e-commerce like Lazada and Shopee, and also a lot of the warehousing. And pretty much today, 60% people are buying things through online, and that has given up to a lot of the commercial and warehouse. So XR REITs seems to be the one, and also XR REITs do pay a pretty decent dividend. Check it out. But right now, I just want to check out the charts that we've seen in here, and let me just bring it out in here and show to you here. Okay, charts on XR REITs. So you can see here XR REITs going to a daily charts here. So last week, all right, we were on 26. The market saw more, but only today it's down 1%. Excuse me. So it's going up on easier. I mean, given XR REITs and Pavilion REITs, the answer is fairly obvious, right? One shopping mall, one commercial with warehousing. Where do you want to go? Definitely you want to go to XR REITs, right? If you have to choose. All right. So if you look from here onwards, you can see it is still green. Pentagon not moving as fast as some of those early on our leaderboard has moved up 60%. But again, you got to give it a bit of time. Give it a bit of time, and I'll come back and review this in the coming weeks. So make sure you continue to join us on our breakfast show and able to see some of this. All right. This is XR REITs. Next one we have was Ta'an. Okay, Ta'an hit 26. We were here. All right, and he had an upthrust moving up. And let me just pull up the trading plan that I did last week. Okay, so put it back here, and we want to see where we are. So always refer back to the trading plan. Okay, so important price level here was 322. You can see 322 is the old high. 305 was 15th of March. That's the one. All right, 305 on 15th of March. Okay, 305. Yep, 305 there. Price to enter is 286. Pretty much still here. Right, haven't got much. Stop loss is 277, which is not been hit yet, and we are likely to hold this until 26, right? Which means another 1 month. Okay, 26th of June. Okay, we started on 26th of April, 26th of June, 26th of July. That's right. This is July because we want to hold it for 2 months. Okay, let me just make an amendment here. July, because 1 month is too short. Because on the trade that we're going to show you, the Southern Steel, we actually hold it for 3 months in here. All right, a lot of those fixed rules will be given out rules this coming Sunday. So you make sure you check us out on Saturday. That's right, Saturday 1 to 4 p.m. this Saturday, and I'm going to give you a QR code to register for that one. Or on the comment side, you can see there's a pinned comment in there. There's a QR code. Make sure you come for our. And those of you who is in our masterclass, we have highlighted this already in our Telegram chat room in there. All right. So that's the thing. Okay, let's look at. So let me just pull this down here and pull this down too. Okay. Now, next for today's episode, 3rd of May. That's right, we're already in May, right? Isn't it fast? Episode 65. We have picked 2 trade ideas for you where we're going to discuss MFCB and Fajar. Now, I will pick Fajar to do the trading plan, and there's a reason behind that because later on I'm going to share with you in a couple of. So make sure you stay with me. Let's look at the weekly and daily trend. Okay, let's look at Fajar here. Switch to Fajar. Now, those of you who want to have more of these kind of features in here, you might want to consider doing the promo Raya combo in here. Then you get the plugin like the trading view screen that you see, and also many of our fundamentals indicator that you have on trading view, which we'll also share with you in here. Something for those of you who want to upgrade just more than what you have in SMARTRobie. All right, just Fajar. Okay, this is Fajar Builder. Okay, you can see we have green Pentagon just came out on last Friday. That's right, Friday in here, and today seems to be holding ground, so that's not too bad. And we will see whether this thing is going to go higher or not. But let's take a look at the weekly basis. Switch to weekly basis. You can see, yes, that's right. So weekly basis, he has moved up from 63 cents. So we're going to put it in here. Weekly green, weekly blue trend zone, and moving higher. Okay, Fajar in here. Let's look at the daily chart here. So right now I'm constructing the trading plan. Okay, you can see just turn green Pentagon on Friday, and Friday was what date was that? You can put your mouse in here, and that is the 30th. Okay, 30th of April 2021. Okay, what else can we say? We have 1, 2. That's a nice one, isn't it? Do we see accumulation? Do we see low volume here? Because that is what we want to talk about, the conceptual map later on, right? You can see this, right? Low volume accumulation, then you have volume coming in, punch out, then we have this slight pullback in here, waiting for more news, and then up we will go. Okay, so we had accumulation on the left side. Okay, then we just put a date here too, up to somewhere around here from 18 March onward, from 18 March 2021. Okay, indicator SMARTRobie. Okay, we just put green Pentagon on 30th of March 21 at what price? There was a closing price. Closing price is 74.5 cents. Okay, 0.745. Okay, so important price level, we can always note that the high 78 cents. So all resistant high at 0.78 cents. Okay, all resistance high 7.8 cents. What date was that? That was on the 7/8. This one also 7/8, and that's on 22nd of March. Okay, how about this one over here? This was 75 cents. 75. No, this was 75 cents. So we have the old high on the 22nd of March. So right now is 3rd of May, and it's making, okay, making it third time breakout if successful. Now, those of you who remember, I've talked about this in our masterclass, right? What is the prediction and win rate for this? So make sure, that's one of the things that we try to do. We try to share with you, with the public, some of this public information in here, but we want to reinforce them, for especially for the masterclass, where the constant coaching and the monitoring will definitely help you more, because we want to prove that we are the, you know, so-called people who do it very often, and we continue to make this available to many of you who continue to watch us and support us. Thank you very much in here. So price to enter is definitely right now the price, 74.5 cents, okay, 0.745, okay. Stop loss, we just take the ATR stop loss here, just scroll it in here, and that's 67, so 0.65, just below it, okay, just below it, okay. Profit target, you can check out the, let me just profit target in here. We have Fajar here, you can see TP2, 85 cents, or you can use the exit strategy. So we just use TP2, 85 cents, okay. All right, holding period again 2 months. All right, if you follow the SMARTRobie trading plan 2 months, that will take us to, today is 3rd of May, 3rd of July. All right, so we have 3rd of May, 3rd of June, 3rd of July. All right, so that's concludes the trading. So let me save this first. As a trading plan, you can see I've done many trading plans, right? So let me just hit this and just change it to Fajar. All right, Fajar, 3rd May. And when we come back next Monday, we definitely review that after our Saturday workshop that we're going to do, investing basic, how to invest with low risk and high return here. Okay, so that's it. We have done our plan in here, so you can see this. If you want to snapshot, just snapshot a picture in here. This is usually how we do our trading plan here, right in here. All right, there you go. And we're going to be doing our next segment here. All right, so let's move on to our next section here. So we done the, we done Fajar. I'm going to show you MFCB. Okay, definitely, because that is the next stock trade here. Now, MFCB, again, is benefiting a lot from the projects that we've seen in the so-called renewable energy. You can see also, right, low volume in here. We have a spring, okay, breaking out in here, and all high was around $7-8. So it's sort of coming down, accumulating, ready to break higher in here. And that looks pretty good too. Going to year end, a lot more project earnings will be coming out, and also reacting to the Biden green energy in here. Certainly a lot more positive compared to other sectors, which is like the shopping mall. Okay, so that's the sector. Let's move on to something on our next segment here, right? Is a talk on our the Pentagon guided strategy. Now, Pentagon guided strategy continue to share, and we want to share this strategy in here. We find that it's very easy to trade. Those of you who have been our masterclass member, where we have our regular monthly to coach you and probably share some of the stocks that you hate. And if you look back on the year 2020 on the back testing one, we have achieved 106.3% in here. That's the right hand side is a QR code for those of you who want to want more about it. It's about 8.8% per month. So right now for the January to April, for the 15.5% in here, that's the amount that we achieved compared to KLSE -2. So a new update that we have is this 15.5% that we have. We are pretty happy, you know, what we have right now. If you realize this, we could hit if you annualize it, of course, 15% for 3 months, and you take it times 3, then you are looking somewhere around 60% return. You know, that's not too bad on a 31,000 in here, using real money, real trading update for our Pentagon guided portfolio. And this is the trade that we took profit today. The Southern Steel, we match it around 95 cents, so we got it. And let me just bring up the Southern Steel trade that we did early on. We held it for 3 months. Again, more of this, we will talk about it on this weekend, okay? This weekend here, yeah, that's right, it hit here. Yeah, we took profit. It hit 95, now 103 already, okay? Right now it's 102. You can see steels are getting very powerful. So we take, this is the took out of the thing. We had it around here. That's right, 30% around. We bought it around 73 cents. We took it out and we are following our plan. Of course, the most basic question, Martin, why don't you let it run? True, but what we want to do is we do a sector rotation. We out from here, and there's another trade that we cut loss, which is MYEG in here. It break below our ATL stop loss. But more of this we will share definitely on Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m. by my coach Arif in here. So do join us at that time, right? So just a quick update in here. We got some match. Fajar we bought. That's why I show you Fajar. We bought at 74.5 cents for that trade. All match inside here. And then going forward, let's see how this trade will pan out and work. All right, we're pretty happy with the results so far, as long as we beat the KLCI and don't lose money. Now remember, all this is part and parcel of our coaching and mentoring. Remember, I've talked about the agenda for 2021. Do you want to be a train agenda? A train trader and a train investor? And if you want to, our Raya combo is something that you want to consider to upgrade your skill. That will continue with you in our daily basis in here. All right, let's move on to our next segment in here. As definitely the early on we saw this what we call accumulation, then followed by line change. This is the pattern, and of course more of this in our VSA tutorial right now in here. Okay, don't forget, tomorrow we also have our Warrant Tuesday. Join me tomorrow at 3 p.m. as we are preparing some of those another strategy using warrant to make high returns with low risk, definitely for sure. If that's suitable for you in here, that will be at 3 p.m. Join me with my co-host at Leong Kaming on the Martin TF page in here. All right. So continue on. And also on, as I said before, we have a very busy week and a lot of events going on for our members as well as also for our public, those of you who are listening in here. For this Wednesday night, left brain trading, the right mindset and technique to succeed in our stock market. All right. So basically, we are looking at trading psychology, which actually impact us as well as a self-assessment too. So those of you who want to know why you are, doing so and so, or why you are successful, or why you struggle, or why there is still a lot more challenges ahead in here. So continue to follow us on Wednesday night. We start at 9:30. Okay, and don't forget, this is the QR code. Those of you who want to, our so-called the big event on Zoom. We're definitely doing on Zoom, so there are more interaction, and we're going to spend 3 hours with you guys, totally free. This workshop as part of our delivery to support you for being a SMARTRobie user in here. So do scan this QR code and do share this with some of your friends or your colleague or your children who is interested to learn more how to invest with low risk and high return, especially in the environment that we in here today. All right, and that's right, this is the our combo plan in here for 2%. Rather than paying 2% now, you're paying a slightly big discount in here, and this offer ends 12th of May for our June intake in here, so take note about it. All right, right now we have come to our regular segment, and especially those of you who has given us a priority on our Google Play Store, we will review some of your stocks for you. If you have not done so, appreciate if you've done a very, very good job in here. Go over to Google Play Store and Apple Play Store and give us a review. We are happy to be of service to you here. All right, let's look at some of the stocks. We have Abu WZ1 in here. All right, sure, we will look at the Abu WZ. If this is a steel company, yes, it's going to go higher. Now, this one, like it or not, hasn't turned green Pentagon in here, but today make a nice movement in here. There's still a bit of resistance in here, but having said that, if you are already in this trade, okay, this seems to be a rebound, but a little bit of resistance in here. So far, volume is still a bit low, so that's pretty okay. But when you see higher volume, then you'll see likely a sign of what we call profit taking in here. All right, let's look at other stocks, those of you who have, and if you have, just let me know them. If not, I'm just going to be browsing in through in here. We have Lai here to look at Hexa. Okay, Hexa, HEXZA. Okay, Hexa looks pretty good. A nice pullback in here. Classic pullback trades in here. Those of you who don't know, refer back to our masterclass. All right, some of our masterclass courses that we talk about our Coach Fu definitely has a bit more comment on this one. It does look like a little bit more upside to come across too. We have Simon Lambert. Thank you previously for your comment there. Okay, we'll look at we have MLS. Okay, Emilus pullback, and we have seen a lot of the tech stocks pulling back. We've seen Apple pulling back, and that's actually a pickup from the US market in here. I think in the longer run, on chart wise, you can see the pullbacks are very, very low. All right, you can see the market leader Inari is also going through the same pullback too. All right. So some of them like Penta already turned red Pentagon. So do take note some of these things that is happening in here. All right. JAX, okay. Okay, JAX looking pretty good since green Pentagon here, and you have a nice spring in here. This, I believe, could be maybe tied to steel. You can see, a nice, movement from 20 cents to 50 cents. That's almost a 100% move already so far in here. And take out of the green, very similar to Southern Steel. So you can see Southern Steel, we have taken profit at 95 cents, and right now it is what it is gone up to about 101. All right. So that's what we have. Okay, we got Michelle in here. Now, Michelle, if you have not done the feedback for us on a Google Play, so please go ahead. Will be fair enough. But I'm just looking for those of you who are our regular members, who is given our stock pick that we are looking at. So that's the one I want to cover first. Okay, another stock I want to look at is actually here given out is Penta. Okay, Penta Master. So you can see Penta Master in here has already turned green Pentagon, but holding up above the green Pentagon in here. Volume's going to be low because it's going to go through this period of congestion in here, similar to Apple. If you see this, also let me switch to Apple. So that's why it's pretty good and decent. If you have a chart like this, you can see Apple also turned red Pentagon. So they're taking a cue from the tech stocks that we've seen, despite a big earnings that we saw last Wednesday in here. So that's all I have for this today, for this breakfast show in here. Thank you for coming, guys, and definitely tomorrow, right, join me tomorrow morning. And if you have not done so, do subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out any of our video, including the Wednesday night video in here. And also those of you who are first time in here, we welcome you to our members and family of Trade VSA Trading ID here, and this is the QR code to join us. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. and also Wednesday at 9:30. With that, thank you for coming. I'll see you later. Bye bye.